Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain an erotic thriller series called Dark Desire from 2022. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The third episode opens with Julieta's body falling from the roof of the hotel. Alma is also seen on the edge of the roof. She is looking down at Julieta's body falling. She notices that a drone camera is recording her from the roof. The police have already arrived at the scene. They are trying to hold back Darío from going near Julieta's body. Eugenia is also present with the police team. She is telling an officer named Jimenez to cover the victim's hotel room and to ensure that no one enters or exits the room or the adjoining ones. Darío falls into Inigo's arms crying. Inigo asks him about what just happened and where he was at that time but doesn't get any answer from him. Eugenia asks Inigo whether he is her family. While the police are questioning Darío and Inigo, Alma is sneaking out of the hotel. On the way outside, she sees Esteban looking at her. Seeing him, she starts walking the other way. Meanwhile, the body of Julieta is being taken away by the forensic team. They also collect Julieta's necklace. Officers are questioning Darío. One officer tells him to tell him his full name slow, and he replies with his full name. He continues that he was supposed to meet Inigo at the bar. Even though he was tired, he agreed to meet because he was his father-in-law. But he thought he had left his phone in his room, so he went there to get it. But instead of coming back, he fell asleep in his room because of tiredness. Darío starts crying again after telling the police his side of the story. The scene changes to Alma, who has reached her house. Right after entering the house, she starts to light a cigarette. Zoe calls her by name, which surprises Alma because she wasn't expecting Zoe to be there. Zoe reminds her that she quit smoking. Alma greets both Zoe and Karina and says that she didn't know that they were there. Zoe tells her sorry because she forgot to call her beforehand, but they came here because the power in their house went out again. Zoe then asks Alma whether she minds them watching the crime documentary here. Alma replies that she doesn't mind, and Karina invites her to watch with them. Alma sits down with them, and Zoe asks whether she is all right. She assures them, but starts remembering what happened earlier on the rooftop. After Julieta falls, Alma finds Darío unconscious on the roof. She hurriedly wakes him up, and before he can understand what's happening, she drags him inside the hotel. She also gets flashbacks of giving her card to Julieta to call her so that she can know more about Darío. She thinks it's Esteban who is doing all of this, as only a psychopath like him could do something like this. The scene changes to Eugenia interrogating Julieta's friend. She informs Eugenia that they were drinking a lot, and Julieta seemed a little frustrated, and then she went to the restroom. Eugenia shows her a picture of some foods and drinks and asks about them, and the friend replies that she had ordered this for Julieta. The police are also searching Darío and Julieta's room, and they find Alma's card there. Meanwhile, Darío is treating his wound. He starts remembering what happened with Alma after they left the roof. Alma tried to calm him down and assure him that he didn't do it. Then she sees the deep wound in Dario's hand and starts doubting him. Darío starts freaking out and tries to convince her that he didn't do it and that they were just talking. And Julieta got upset. The background changes to Alma waking up in the morning. Zoe calls her to see the news on the TV, where the reporter is talking about the death of Julieta and how the police haven't caught any suspect. Lise also watches the news from her house. Zoe tells Alma that this hotel in the news is near their house. The news reveals that Julieta was going to walk down the aisle, and her fiancé is Darío. Zoe is shocked to learn this and looks at Alma. Meanwhile, Leonardo also can't believe this and opens his invitation card to confirm that the groom is Darío. The story goes back to Darío, who is asking Inigo whether there's any update. Inigo replies that there is still nothing, but the police will go through the security footage to know more. Inigo adds that according to the police, as she was drunk, this might have been an accident. Inigo hands Darío a device, and there are a lot of pictures of Julieta's mother. He explains to him that this might be the cause of Julieta's death. Earlier, she had told Inigo that she had made a slideshow of her mother's pictures to include her in the wedding. She also added that now she understands the darkness that her mother was feeling. Even after hearing Inigo, Darío is not able to convince himself that this is happening. Inigo assures him that he will feel like this for the rest of his life, just like him. Darío gets up and hugs him, and he breaks down crying. Meanwhile, Eugenia is scolding Mendoza for losing sight of Esteban. Right at that moment, Esteban enters Eugenia's office holding flowers, shocking them. He tells her that they could discuss anything she wants to know about him and she doesn't have to continue doing something like this. The scene changes to Lise going to the therapy session, when Alma calls her from the other side of the road. Alma informs her that she is not going to the therapy, as she has something else to do, And then she tells Lise that she didn't want to get this personal, but asks whether she was involved with Darío. Meanwhile, Zoe and Karina have gone to a friend of Zoe's. Karina is asking Zoe how the news about Darío is related to her mother, but Zoe is not giving her any clear answer. Zoe greets a friend named Mao and asks him for a favor. Zoe requests him to let her see the body of Julieta. The story goes back to Esteban, who is discussing with Eugenia in a restaurant. Eugenia informs him that they are not going to talk about them as their relationship was from ancient times. Esteban agrees and just wants to know that this conversation is off the record. Eugenia agrees, but tells him to mind it that she was the prosecutor in his trial, and she knows that he lied. Esteban assures her that his changes are not an act, and it has a long backstory. He admits that he wanted Darío's grandfather's fortune, but something drastic happened which changed his life. Meanwhile, Alma is talking with Lise inside a car. She wants to know more about their relationship, but Lise asks her the reason. Alma reveals that she is the only one who will understand what she is going through. Lise starts telling her that Darío was 17-18 years old, and she was his literature teacher. She also tells her that even though she was married and he was underage, she couldn't resist him, just like Alma. The story goes back to Eugenia asking Esteban by whom he was betrayed. Esteban reminds her that they were supposed to have a friendly conversation and not turn this into an interrogation. He starts to explain that all he had to do to get his share was to pretend to be someone else named Inigo Lescano. But he soon realized that it was a setup to get hold of him, and it was set by Darío. Eugenia again asks him when this happened and how many more were involved. Esteban again reminds her that it's not an interrogation. Meanwhile, Lise is continuing her story about how her husband got mad from pain and shame after knowing all of this, and Alma can relate to this. She asks Lise whether they are divorced now and gets informed that Lise's husband passed away from a heart attack. She also adds that she doesn't know whether Darío has anything to do with the death of his fiancée. But the only thing she knows is every woman who has been in love with Darío will not come out in one piece after that. The story goes back to Zoe, who is allowed to see the body of Julieta. Mao informs her that everything is pointing to her suicide, but they are still waiting for the results. Zoe asks about the toxicology report, and he informs her that aside from alcohol, they have found benzodiazepines. Zoe notices that the body is missing a nail, and Mao tells her that they are waiting for the results of this test too. Meanwhile, the forensic team has found something from searching the roof. Darío is also seen to have gotten a new phone and seems to be contacting someone. The scene changes to Eugenia, who is telling that what Esteban has said so far doesn't explain his conversion. He tells her that God has saved him, and proceeds to reveal everything that happened to him in the church that day. He tells her how it's a miracle, but Eugenia doesn't seem to believe a word. She tells him that as his friend, it's pissing her off that he's wasting her time like this. Esteban tells her that if it's true, then she should quit following him as he would like to prove his words by actions. The story goes back to Alma as she asks Lise whether she had talked to Darío the last time they met in New York. Lise informs her that that part of her life is over, and now she doesn't want to know anything about Darío. Alma starts requesting her as she is the only one who can fill up the gaps in Dario's story. But Lise is adamant about her decision as Darío is the reason she is in therapy. Alma tells her she understands but gives her a card to call her if she changes her mind. After much requesting, Lise takes the card and leaves. Alma gets a message from an unknown number to meet them at the Las Delicias motel at 9 p.m. Meanwhile, Eugenia calls Mendoza to inform her of everything Darío is up to from now on. She goes to meet with Inigo in his room and requests for his time. Eugenia notices a wedding dress lying on the sofa inside. Inigo tells her that it's her daughter's wedding dress and she didn't get to wear it. He decided to take it with him and hoped that they didn't mind it. Eugenia assures him and tells him that she just wanted to talk with him about Darío and Julieta. Eugenia asks him how they met, and Inigo reveals that a little over a year ago, they met when he was advising Darío on a legal matter. After seeing how brilliant Darío is, he invited Darío to work with him. Julieta fell for Darío at first sight. Meanwhile, Darío is calling someone named Mark, saying he needs his help in an exchange. The story comes back to Inigo. Eugenia asks him about the legal issues that he helped Darío, and Inigo is confused as to why she is asking this. Eugenia tells him that every detail is important for them now. Inigo informs her that what's important to him is that Darío was as much in love with Julieta as she was with him. By the way, Inigo is talking about Julieta's death. Eugenia understands that he believes it's suicide. She asks him whether she had any history of depression, as they have found antidepressants in her system. Inigo informs her about her mother's mental condition and suicide. Meanwhile, Zoe tells Karina that 78% of deaths caused by falling from high buildings will have telescopic coxofemoral fractures, and she has to talk about it with Mao regarding Julieta's death. Karina is not happy about Zoe seeing Mao again. Zoe agrees that she flirted a little bit with him because he is the only person who can let her see the body. Karina starts arguing with her about introducing her as her friend to him. Zoe gets frustrated and leaves the house. The scene changes to Alma, who has reached the hotel. It's revealed that Mendoza has noticed Alma from his car behind. He takes pictures of Alma entering the hotel. Meanwhile, the officer named Jimenez gives Eugenia the footage drive from the hotel. He informs her that it's a complete mayhem at the hotel, as they are completely replacing the security staff. Eugenia believes he can handle it and tells him that she wants information about all movements on the 10th floor, the bar, and the rooftop. She then tells him to find Julieta's phone as its top priority. Meanwhile, Alma enters the hotel thinking she has come to meet Esteban, but she sees Darío waiting for her. He tells her that they have to get out of this place and that they will get caught if police review the security footage. But Alma assures him that they have nothing to do with Julieta's fall. Darío tells her that they can see something else in the footage. Inigo is now seen on the screen, burning the wedding dress on the rooftop. The scene again changes to Alma. She tells Darío to tell her the truth, and he requests her to trust him as he trusts her. The episode ends with them sharing a passionate kiss. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.